聞いたことあるか？よし、出発だ。
What unique problems will Generation Z have to face in the future? Their entire lives documented on the internet, in mostly public access. It starts with their parents posting their infancy, toddlerhood, elementary years on Facebook or Instagram. Then they get social media of their own without any true limits, and that continues in high school, college, and the rest of their lives. Only some of it is within their control, since friends and family can still post about them. We've already seen the past come back to haunt every kind of public figure, but we're only just now encountering the first generation that has truly always had the internet to document their existence. We'll make things like political elections very interesting. I'm scared to admit, but I feel like a lot of Gen Z will realize not everyone can be an influencer. The influencer craze is just the dream of being an actor or musician, disguised as something new. I used to occasionally present at high school job fairs for blue-collar construction jobs that can easily earn you six figures. These job fairs were specifically catered to kids who didn't have the interest or ability to go to college. When I'd tell them they could make $100,000 in just a few years, many of them would laugh and say it wasn't much money. Some would spout off something about how some social media influencer I'd never heard of makes way more money than that, as if they were going to do the same. They would all walk around staring at their phones, taking selfies, and bragging about how many followers they have. It was pretty soul-crushing. Someone replied, "I want to be a YouTuber, and I have to explain to her that it's not as simple and record post. Though for a few it is, but that even if the right setup and even an idea of what to do and the skills to do it doesn't mean success is on the way." There's a big difference from them wanting to do it as a hobby on the side and using it as a career plan while not focusing on other things that matter. For instance, I'm a musician professionally, but that plan wasn't an excuse for me to not do other schoolwork or try in other aspects of life. I see too many children who want to be influencers, athletes or musicians, and use that as an excuse for why they have crappy attitudes and work ethics. They get to deal with the 1984 pro-censorship SJW cabal for the entire life. Boomers like me at least got to enjoy some fun and freedom. Meanwhile, my son will never know a time when comedy could be comedy, or that a tweet from a decade ago could ruin your life today. They won't be socially allowed to joke about most of the things happening in the world. Not mentioning navigating life while being startled and offended by every blade of grass they see. There will be no more good movie plots or real idols. Instead, movies, games and books are just made in political favor of the loudest group of self-proclaimed victimhood. Expensive housing. Housing is available, but priced are too high for the people that need it. The expensive property still generates value even if it is unoccupied. When building new housing, it is more profitable to build large expensive houses than smaller and cheaper. And then communities actively oppose low-income housing because they fear opportunity for people less well-off than themselves will bring crime to their doorsteps. I believe a change in the next generation's political/social beliefs will become a problem, even though Gen Z is very much socially liberal. But the problem lies in where the next generation goes. Will they come full circle and become more conservative, causing head-to-head conflict which we see now with the much more liberal youth and conservative elders? Or will they become more socially acceptable with issues much more taboo or downright degenerate? What if the next generation feels as though all of their problems stem from Gen Z? Much like how we believe boomers ruined it for us? I'm not arguing whether or not boomers actually ruined the economy, but this is what I believe to be one of the problems facing Gen Z in the future. Large student loan debt. Stagnant living wages. Student loans and wages are just my biggest gripe right now. I was lucky enough to have my parents pay for most of college and only had 1 to 2 years of debt to pay off. Also, I went to community college for 2 years to offset some cost. But the fact that companies are basically scamming people out of wages and college degrees are literally worth nothing after college is just disheartening. The entire college industry should be discredited because at this point, only people who are qualified professionals that need extensive study, doctor, lawyer, physicist, computer engineer, CPA, etc., and gen ed classes are literally the college milking people for extra cash. Why on earth does a doctor need to take a history/gym/language/diversity class? The entire first year is wasted on these BS classes when you can be studying what you actually want to do. I hate to say it, but no one is going to look at a Bachelor of Arts as a way to make money. You don't need a college degree to draw, paint, act, or write. If you have the skill set for it, then you're already qualified. Not only that, but expecting a 17 to 18-year-old kid to decide what their career is going to be is just absurd. The consequences of the child-free and dog-lover movements and the dehumanization and lack of empathy toward children. The overpopulation myth, within the next 50 years will devastate the global economy. You thought the pandemic was bad? Imagine when major countries like Japan and the USA suffer a giant population drop and it wrecks their economy from not having enough workers. We are creating a world where everything sharp is made blunt, every comment is weighed and weighed until it lost its meaning, and every scary thing is removed from the paths of kids. A friend said to me that we are creating a spoiled generation where the parent is the person with the broom wiping every bump away for their kids. Not having an attention span longer than a few minutes. They always have to be doing something. Usually it's just checking their phone to see if there is a new notification. When they grow up and become developed human beings, this will hold them back a ton. They don't have the ability to just sit without doing anything. And also not able to entertain themselves. They have to have someone else entertaining them, which is scary. Having to plan for a much longer lifespan. It's estimated that my generation will live to an average age of 100 to 120 years. We've been trained by society to get jobs, houses, have kids, etc. But no one is thinking of the inevitable. What if that job, degree, or house doesn't last you 80 years? So if the plan doesn't work out for a lot of people, they can't afford to live at 100-year-old, for example. That's why everyone should have a retirement plan. That way you can
指令をお出しください。
影のカラスが優也を求め。
みんなは俺が守れ。くらえ。
お触り禁止。召喚化粧。
裁きを受けよ。
姿を見せよ。
ガンオー帝君のために。穏やかな雰囲気、とても好きです。芝生に寝転がると大地の鼓動が聞こえてきます。